Hey everybody, this is Brian at PrimoChill. Today we are going to do a video about our Phase II CTR reservoirs. This is the second release of our CTR reservoir, which is basically a compression tube reservoir. All of these tubes are not threaded, they are compression, so they're using an O-ring to make the seal and hold back the water in the reservoir itself. Very, very similar to our rigid compression fittings in the way that the ring and the O-ring make the seal around the tube. So today we're just kind of go over not in extensive lengths, but in fair amount of lengths to discuss how we get these assembled, how you're able to use them. There's so many different color combinations that you can use in the reservoir. It'd probably take a whole week to just cover the different combinations that you guys can have. So right here you see these two reservoirs here in the front. This is the D5 enabled CTR Phase II reservoir. As you can see, it has a cap at the end with an inlet or an outlet, or two inlets. You could actually have three inlets if you wanted. The way it's basically set up now is just an inlet here and an outlet down here where the pump side is. And we also have mounting holes on the bottom, so you can mount it to your case very simply and be off to the races. This one you don't need the actual ring to go around it to hold it in place. We're actually using the mount on the bottom of these two. So as you can see in this, there is on the inside there is a vortex killer, which basically when we designed this pump head, we knew that we would have a little bit of a vortex in there just because the pressure of that pump is pretty amazing, and being in a cylindrical tube like this, we needed something to block it up before it inletted into the pump. So we came up with this pretty awesome vortex killer, we call it, to basically just stop any vortex and have a nice fluid inlet to the pump. So I'll go over this a little bit further in detail. I wanted to show you the next one, which is basically our CTR low profile. And if you could see, it is super low profile. It's not very thick on the ends like some of the other reservoirs that are out there. They have a big block, big end on it that's threaded halfway into it. So this is real low profile. Both sides, top, bottom, front, bottom, however you want to just go with it, you'll see that there's 4 ports and 4 ports on top. So if you can see here, these are our rigid compression fittings, and you notice you can easily fit 4 fittings on top. So if you want to do, kind of a manifold system to where you have 4 in, 4 out, put this place in the system where, you can have all your returns coming and your outlets going out. So this is the CTR Low Pro. It's, pretty basic in its design, but, works perfect. So what I want to kind of do now is cover a few of the, I would say, caps that we're going to have available for this initial launch of the CTR2, the CTR, Phase II. And as you can see in the back here, we have 3 different caps. We have the D5 pump end, which is basically the end that you see on here, but this is just clear. We will have them in clear PMMA. We'll also have it in white Delrin or POM, and a black version. So you will be able to buy these, the actual pump versions, whether it's in clear, white, or black, already assembled, ready to go. Those will be available at the resellers here pretty soon. So this is the pump version, or I'm sorry, this is the pumped cap. This is a kind of a manifold type coupler to where you can actually hook two tubes together. So if you want them to run, you know, a blue tube on this side, a red tube on this side, or one that's 120 millimeters on this side and one that's 80 on this side, however you want to do it. This will actually enable you to hook two tubes together. This will be sold separately, so if you want to add this to your system, you would just have to buy this part separately. And then the other one is our end cap, and basically you have 3 inlets on this end cap, 2 on the side and 1 on the top. So those are right now the 3 parts that are available for the Phase 2. We have a couple other in R&D right now that we're pretty excited about, adding a second DDC pump we're thinking about. So this is the end caps for the Phase 2. As you can see here on the other side, there are the vortex killers, and these vortex killers are going to come in 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 different colors. As you can see, this one is just the red vortex killer, and we have the UV colors. So those vortex killers inside the D5 enabled Phase 2 are removable. It comes stock with a clear, but if you want to add an orange or a yellow or whatnot to it, just pops out and you put the new one in. So right now I kind of want to cover what the low profile CTR, the Phase 2 low profile, is going to look like when you guys get it. It's essentially going to look like this without the fittings. These on top here. So I can kind of walk you through how it actually gets assembled. It's very, very similar to your our rigid compression fittings, to where you put the ring on first, then you sleeve it, and then, you put the ring on first, put the O-ring on, and then put the cap on. So basically this is the end cap, and this end cap basically sits right on the end of this tube res here. Very simple. So what we want to do is we'll put the ring on first, and then we'll put the O-ring, we'll put the O-ring on next, as you can see, and then we'll put the cap on. So with that, we're just going to roll this O-ring down, and then we're going to take this ring and screw it right on. And then when it gets finger snug, you'll see that it's not going to come off. I do have a good way to show you guys how to tighten this once this end cap is on here. It's kind of hard to hold these two here. So what we do basically here when we assemble them and ship them out to you guys is we put 2 fittings in here, one on this side and a fitting on this side. We hold the ring, and then we just use the 2 fittings here to tighten it. Simple as that. Nice and tight. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and do the other side here for you, just to kind of show you how quick and fast it is to assemble these. Oops, I put it on upside down. It would help if the thread's the other way. Just move your O-ring up, come in with the compression ring itself, turn it till it's nice and tight. Then again, all you would do is put your fittings on the end, hold the ring like so, and then just tighten it like this. So once those are on there, you notice that the res is complete. Nice, simple, easy way to build it. So what we've noticed through all the testing that we've done on these is that in some of the higher pressure systems, where multiple radiators, lower flow blocks, pumps that are pretty really strong, what we've noticed is that these end caps sometimes, depending on the pressure in the system, have moved a little bit. Once these caps are on, they're pretty hard to get off. But as a precaution, what we've done is we've added 2 more O-rings in the package for these CTRs. Let me get this unscrewed for you real quick. And what we've done is, these aren't installed. The tube res, the low profile tube res as is comes with one O-ring installed. We add a second O-ring in the package in case you have a higher pressure system that's creating a lot of PSI in the system, which one O-ring, we found one O-ring works great on the low profiles. If you want the extra assurance of it, you can put a second O-ring on there. Put your cap on, roll the 2 O-rings up, and bring your ring up. Tighten as you would any, like normally doing it. Now there's just 2 O-rings in there, and it just makes for, a tighter fit. They're not going to go anywhere with 2 O-rings on there. So if you feel more comfortable having a second O-ring in there, if you have a higher pressure system, I would, maybe test outside of your loop with 1 O-ring with your system, to see if you're seeing any movement of that end cap. But most of the time when these O-rings are installed, they're installed, with no issues. So that's kind of the low profile. Just to cover a couple things that come with the low profile reservoir is any of the low profile reservoirs that are larger than 80 millimeters, they're going to come with 2 brackets for mounting. And basically these brackets are pretty simple to use. You can basically just take this bracket and you can actually stretch it over it. And as you can see here, let me see if I can bring this up a little bit closer for you guys. As you can see here, this is the base, and this little loop here goes into the base here where this loop is. So if you can see that, it's kind of black, sorry, but it fits right in there, and that holds it into place. Now you take the provided thumb screw that comes with it. Sorry, this is kind of hard to do. There we go. And you basically tighten that thumb screw in on the other side, and it basically clamps that tube res together, to where it holds it in place. Again, we ship with 2, anything that's bigger than an 80 mil. We've had a lot of customers that wanted 2 in there. When the res got full of water, it was a little heavy, so we decided that 2 brackets for the 120, the 240, and the 360, that we would definitely need 2 of them. So you have 2 brackets. Also in that the Phase 2, you get a little mounting template, and basically what this is this mounting template you can put on, to the wall of your case, or onto the side of the case, or wherever you're mounting the actual reservoir, and this will give you a perfect template to drill your holes to where they match up with the bottom of the bracket. So this is just a mounting template. So when you want to position it in your case, you can use this, drill out the holes, and then simply screw right into there, and you don't have to worry about the holes lining up correctly. Also with the low profile CTR Phase 2 is you get 4 of the nickel plated black low profile plugs basically. Since you have 4 out, 4 on each side, I'm not, I don't know a lot of people that are going to run all of them, but we included them so it's a little bit easier for you guys to actually install them if you have to use this one port and not this port. So basically we included enough plugs to plug the entire reservoir except for two G-quarter spots. So whether it's an inlet and an outlet, obviously you need that with a reservoir and an inlet and an outlet. So we provide enough stop plugs to enable you to, plug everything except 2 holes. We also include 2 LED G1/4s, and basically what this G1/4 is, it's an LED light plug, and it comes with this little rubber, hard to see, this little rubber sleeve that goes over your LED, and then you push it in to the actual plug itself, and that LED stays in there. It's pretty hard to get out. So most of the LED port plugs that you see, they don't have this little rubber here, and the LEDs fall right out. So we include 2 of these and 4 of the metal stoppers, and that's about it for the Low Pro. So as you can see, the build of it is very simple. Plugging it up is going to be simple. Mounting it's going to be simple. Everything's included. The extra O-rings are included if you want to feel, a little bit safer about it. In a higher pressure system, you can add the second O-ring with no problems. So everything you need to get the system up and running, as far as just a tube res, this is pretty much the way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and set this stuff aside and get to the D5 version of the Phase II. And I'm going to go ahead and assemble that as well, so you can kind of see how that gets assembled. Let me grab some of this stuff and put it out here for it. Our Phase II does not come with a D5 pump. You will need to supply that D5 pump yourself. So, I'm showing it in the video to how to install it, but it does not come, with the actual pump itself. So, as you can see here, we're going to do a clear version. I have a clear, the D5 end here, and a clear end cap. And for the D5 version, the O-ring is already going to come installed, and for the pump side. And basically, that O-ring basically allows to seal the pump on this side, so water doesn't come out this side. So that's always going to come pre-installed on your head, your D5 pump head. Again, when you buy a Phase II CTR D5, it's going to come assembled, so you don't have to worry about assembling it, but I just want to show you how it actually gets assembled. So we have a blue 240mm tube, laser cut, both sides. And what we want to do basically is we want to take our ring, slide our ring on, and for the D5 we definitely recommend 2 O-rings per side, just because of the pressure of the system, the pressure of the actual D5 itself that it creates in this tube res. 2 O-rings, we've been testing it for months now. 2 O-rings are just perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 O-rings on here. And the pump head. So as you can see, the pump head can go either way, but not really, because this is the pump side. And as you can see, the pump side has kind of a helix to it, and it spins out and the fluid comes out this way. So as your pump revolves, it inlets from here and then it spits out to this side. So you don't want to install, obviously, your tube res on that side. You want to install it on the side that has the lip in it, right here. So we go ahead and put that on. We're going to slide the 2 O-rings up, like so. And then we're going to sling the ring down. This one's a little bit easier because you have a little bit more grip with here. So you can actually just kind of turn this and tighten this at the same time by hand. And that CTR, that pump guy's on there with no problems. So we'll do the top now, or I actually built it upside down because the PrimoChill would be down here, but for the video this will do just fine. We want to put our ring on first. And then we want to put O-ring 1 on, O-ring 2 on, and then we want to grab our end cap. And obviously the end cap can only install one way. Slide our O-rings up, and then we want to slide our ring up. Tighten, just like we tightened the other side. Now on this side, I wouldn't tighten this one all the way down, because if you look at it now, the mounting for this side is over there, and the mounting for this is, it's kind of twisted on the tube. So what we recommend is kind of twist this side until you get it right, and you can lay it down flat and then continue to tighten it. That way this mount and this mount are completely flat. So if you have this mount on the other side, you know, you're not going to be able to mount it flat up against something. So basically that is how the D5 Phase II enabled pump works. I'm actually going to go ahead and put the actual D5 pump on it now. In your kit, like I said, the D5 pump head is going to have an O-ring installed here, and then we have a shim O-ring that we have, that you're going to also add to the inside. And this is a ton of testing that we've done to get this to be perfect. This shim basically keeps, if I can get this, keeps this part here as close as possible to the inlet, so there's less loss, and this inlet is close enough to it to where it's all the water's directing into here and not flowing over the edges. So to cover that real quick again, you're going to have the D5 pump head here, and then you're going to take the shim, and you're just going to lay the shim over on top of the other O-ring. Very simple. Lay it over there, and then for your ring, same ring. This ring works on the pump side and the compression side, so don't worry about it being a different thread. So basically, you take your D5 pump, you drop the wire through like so, slide your ring up like that, and then we just want to drop the D5 head in there, and you want to kind of give it a good little force to make sure that it's making contact. And then we're just going to spin this on to where it's nice and snug. And you can tell how snug it is if this motor turns or not. If this motor doesn't turn, then it's plenty snug enough. But if you notice, if it's not tight enough, this motor will turn. That means it's not making contact with the O-ring. So we definitely want to make sure that this is tightened all the way down to where this pump does not move. So that is a D5 enabled Phase II CTR. Pretty slick, pretty easy, pretty streamlined. It doesn't have a huge pump head on the end of it. Our pump head is no more than 2 inches big, and it's round just like the reservoir. So as you can see, that's what it looks like installed, and looks pretty awesome. So, and the best thing about it is the performance is incredible. So we have a few of these out to some testers to get us some accurate numbers on the actual flow out of this radiator. I'm sorry, this tube res with this pump, and we should be able to post some of that data, in a month or so, after these have hit the store. I do want to show you a couple things on the pump head itself. Obviously, it has 2 bottom mounting holes. It has, when looking at the pump like this, there's a hole on this side, and there's a hole on this side. This side is an actual inlet, and this inlet is there. We put it there because we had room to put it there. We've done a fair amount of testing with it. There hasn't been an issue. We have seen a performance drop a little bit with having an inlet here. This is kind of a freebie. you know, if you want to use it, you can. We recommend outlet on, you know, this cannot be an outlet, it's only inlet, and this is outlet. So when looking at it, you'll see on the left hand side, this is outlet, this is inlet. So again, you don't have to use this. This is, we kind of put it in there because we had room to put it in there, and you know, we like the results so far, but you know, we're not telling everybody to use it at this point. A normal setup would be inlet at the top or the sides, and then outlet here, and this would just get a cap. So that kind of covers what the D5 pump head, you know, kind of does. Again, you can use this as an inlet. We just can't guarantee that the performance is going to be as good as inlet here, outlet here. So to cover what else comes with the D5 Phase II, we have all the port caps to plug everything up except for 2 outlets on here, same as we did on the Low Pro. And then we also have a, I don't know if you can see this, this is a mounting template. And basically what this mounting template is if you look here, this mounting template lines up perfect here, and this one down here when you slide it. So the reason we have that this can be adjusted is depending on, you know, if you take this, you know, some of the times when we cut these tubes and it's installed, you know, this measurement from here to here is not always exact. So we use a sliding template. So basically what you do is you put your template over the existing holes of yours, like so, and then you would just tape them together right there, and then you would take this template as your mount template. So you'd put this in your case on the sidewall, or you know, on the, you know, wherever you're going to decide to put it. This would be your mounting template. So little handy tool to make sure that you can drill the holes, and the holes are going to be where the tube res is exactly. So one last thing that we do have, and kind of put this together, with all the testing that we did, you know, a lot of the testing that we do is outside of cases, outside of systems, you know, on our wet benches, so we're able to test, you know, new products, you know, without trashing, you know, basically a system. If, you know, that new product happened to go wrong, you know, if we have an issue with the res, or, you know, any of our fluids that we test. So, but when we went to install this, we noticed that, you know, there's not going to be a ton of room, you know, once you mount this, say, up against the back of your case, there's not a lot of room to kind of get out there and bend and all that good stuff. So what we decided to do was include some M4 screws. And these M4 screws are, I think, 70 mils long. And we also included a standoff. And basically what this standoff is going to do is, you know, you're going to mount this through the back of your case. You're going to put this standoff, screw it all the way down to here, so this holds this screw in place. Okay? So when you go to mount it, you want to bring this down about halfway, and then this is going to screw in to the back here. And then when you go to tighten it from the back of the case, you can cinch up this to set your depth, and also make sure that this kind of locks in place. So this will give you about a 2.5 inch standoff from the back of your case. So, you know, these 4 long screws that we're going to include with it, you know, basically mount into the base here, and it's going to give you that much of a standoff from the back. So again, those are included. The standoffs are included. So we'll have, you know, we'll have a couple shots of this installed, probably in the next couple weeks. We have a couple builds coming up. So we'll have that and kind of show you how it's actually standing off from it. So one last thing I did forget to show you is the vortex killer and how it actually gets installed. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Again, the D5, when you purchase it from us, pre-installed, the D5 killer or the vortex killer is already in there. So let me uninstall this tube real quick. All right, so this is the tube res side. Let me get the actual, let's see if a dark one is going to be a little bit better to see. Yeah, that would be a lot easier to see. So if you notice, this is the tube side, and the inlet, again, when looking at the pump side, you're always going to watch where this flow goes for the outlet. Okay, so the flow comes in from here, spins around and shoots out this side. Okay, so this inlet side actually comes into here and then pumps back up into the reservoir. So this is kind of the experimental port, basically. So what we have is on our vortex killer, you can see is we have this cutout only on one side, and this basically goes over that inlet so it doesn't block it. So if you do decide to use it, you're not blocking that inlet. So basically, to install this vortex killer, you would just line it up straight, or to where it's open in this slit, and you basically just take your fingers and you snap the part in. Part stays in there, doesn't come out. There's no issues with it turning or popping out. We've made it nice and snug inside of here. If you do want to change it to a different color, you would just basically turn this and it comes right out. So that's the vortex killer. Again, comes with a clear. We have a bunch of colors that you can change them out. If you want to have a white paddle or a red or a blue or a green or whatnot. So again, very simple to install. Just make sure it's lined up and snap it into place, and she's good to go. Put it back on your res, and vortex killer is installed. So that kind of covers that. One last thing I want to cover before we wrap this video up is our coupler, and we're pretty excited about this coupler just because it's something unique. You can get a look that nobody else has, in their system. Just kind of gives you a very unique look, it actually adds functionality to it because it gives you either an inlet or an outlet in the middle of your tube res. So what we have here, as you can see, is the pass-through coupler, and this pass-through coupler basically lets you mount a tube on this side and a tube on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And so let's say I want to do a green tube on this end. This is 120 millimeters. I would install it like that. Put my O-ring on it. Oops. Don't forget the ring. With the threads to, let's see, we're going to do it this side. So move that up. Move your O-ring up. Take your ring, tighten your ring down, and you have half of the res. So, say you want to, you only have room in your system to do a smaller one here and a, really tiny 80 mil at the top. You could do that simply. Let me get another little ring here so we can do this. Alright, so we would take this one here, line it up here, drop an O-ring on, drop the compression ring on, move your O-ring down, tighten your ring, like so. Then you would just take your last, you know, for your end caps, you would basically just take the end cap of your choice. So if you wanted to put a D5 on here, which I recommend doing a D5 at least with a 120 and an 80. I wouldn't go 80-80. I don't think there's enough room in it. So you could put a D5 on this end and then a normal cap on this end. And basically, let's see if I can move that down for you. You can kind of see that, you know, you have lots and lots of options as far as letting, you know, inlets and outlets and all that good stuff. So that is the coupler system. Basically, we will have all of the end caps themselves for sale. We'll have the, so say if you wanted to do a, you know, instead of a mounted end cap on there, you want to just do a low profile end cap on there, you'll be able to buy just the low profile version end cap, and then basically you'll just, you know, so we'll take this, put our O-ring on, put our cap on, and then we can move our O-ring up. See if I can take this end off real quick. All right, let's see if we can get this here. All right, there we go. So if you want to do just a low pro on this side, you could. I think we have a couple pictures on Facebook of us. We built one with a low pro on both ends, like this, and it had a coupler in the middle. So if you want to just use it as a reservoir, and then you have the mount here, so you don't have to add, you know, a bracket to hold it in place. So that's pretty much it. You know, we've put a ton of time and a ton of energy into this product, a ton of testing. You know, we learned quite a bit from our initial CTR, you know, that we had launched last year. And, you know, this is just the phase 2 of it. It's a natural progression, us figuring out what works, what doesn't work. You know, and it makes it a real easy, simple, you know, put together system for you guys. So if, you know, later down the road you wanted to change the theme of your computer, you know, you can change the tube colors out, you can change the coupler colors out, you can change the ring colors out, the vortex killers out. So ton of different things that you can do. So to kind of wrap things up, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, all these tube colors that we have, they all match our rigid tubing. So let's say you have a blue rigid tube and you wanted a blue reservoir to go with it. So you essentially, you know, these two are perfect blues together. You can do a rigid line with one of our blue reses and it matches perfect. Another great thing that we've done on our aluminum rings is we have two styles of the aluminum rings. We have the straight up knurls, which match the straight up knurls on our compression fittings, or we have the normal diamond knurl, which, you know, also match our diamond knurl rigids. So you kind of see we're getting to the point to where everything in the system is finally matching as far as acrylic colors, as far as aluminum colors. So, you know, we're trying to make it easy on you guys to set up systems and really make them look good. So I think that's it for me. So if you have any questions, we're going to go ahead and get this posted up on Yahoo, or I'm sorry, not Yahoo, on YouTube, so you guys can see it, see, you know, how easy it is to put together, how easy it is to use, how friendly, you know, the colors are, so you can make it your own. With the couplers, you know, you can pretty much build, you know, your masterpiece. So again, I really appreciate you know, all the feedback on this product that we've had, you know, to make this evolution, you know, to a phase 2. So, you know, I think this is a perfect product for, you know, pretty much all the users that are out there. So again, we thank you for your business. We thank you for your support, and if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact us at support.primochill.com or just stop by Facebook. We got a couple guys in there that love helping people out on their builds. So for now, that'll be it, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.